Hello, my name is Juan Bravo. I'm in Group 8 in Animals in Society, Section 3. I did my presentation on castration and dehorning in food animals. Background. Dehorning of cattle is when you remove the horns or the process of preventing their growth. Castration of animals causes sterilization, which prevents them from reproducing. Dehorning and castration of calves intended for beef production is common in the U.S. These processes have both negative and positive benefits. However, it results in some level of pain to the animal. Castration practices. There are three types: physical methods, chemical methods, and hormonal methods. So there are three types of physical methods. The first one is practice that is most common, which involves surgical removal. The second one is an application of rubber ring at the base of the scrotum. And the third is bloodless castration by using external clamps. Chemical methods. Injection of sclerosing or toxic agents which cause irreparable damage and loss of function. Hormonal methods. Injection of immune contraceptives, which results in decreased production of endogenous hormones. So, in the chemical methods, I feel like this is very inhumane because you can't. There's no going back after you do this method. And in hormonal methods, I feel like that hormonal methods and physical methods are both the more humane way, except that when you do the application of rubber ring, it can cause the animal to be in pain for um a short amount of time or even up like even months. When combining dehorning and castration practices, it has shown that the pain has lasted up to or more than 4 hours. And just like any other surgeries, complications can happen during and after. Not only do these methods cause pain, but they also cause physiological stress in animals of all ages. There is no evidence that shows that younger calves experience less pain than older calves when it comes to dehorning. The control of bleeding is essential when it comes to dehorning. So, I said that there's no evidence that shows that younger calves experience less pain than older calves when it comes to dehorning, but when it comes to castration, the younger you do it, the better. So they say that that you should always castrate an animal before 4 months because after the 4 months is when there could be serious complications or even death. Dehorning 4. Dehorning is done to prevent or reduce the herding of herd mates. It requires less space when moving them to the slaughterhouses. Uh, there's a decrease. It decreases the probability of injuring workers. There's a gain of price when offering hornless cattle at auctions. There's a decrease in aggressiveness, and due to injuries from those with horns, it costs the industry about $10 million a year just because of the injuries, which is why um all the all the big producers uh are for dehorning because it costs them a lot of money when they leave them with horns. Castration 4. The price of beef cattle castrated increases in price at auctions. Castration of animals reduces aggressiveness. It reduces sexual activity due to lowering testosterone levels. And when castrated, they tend to produce higher quality grade. Dehorning against. So, sickness or death when dehorning older calves is more common. And when they say older calves, they're talking about calves that are 4 months or older. Is when sickness or death is increases. There's decreased live weight gains following the weeks after dehorning. So whenever they dehorn the calves or other animals, it causes them to eat less, which is why there's a decreased live weight. Third, there's loss of productivity. Fourth, all methods cause the animal pain and side effects. So depending on how young or what method they use when dehorning, it could cause um the animal pain for a short amount of time or longer. It just depends on which um which process they do and also on the animal. Castration against. Due to castration practices, the animals can feel acute pain or even chronic pain. So there's two types of pain that the animals feel, which is acute or chronic. Acute pain is when the pain is less, and whenever the pain is worse, it goes from being acute pain to chronic pain. And some pains can last up to 4 hours or more. Castration of animals that are too old can result in death or serious injury. Infection, swelling, bleeding, discomfort, and pain can occur. There's decreases in daily gains, and whenever they do the method of banding, it can cause pain which can last months. This is why some people this is why people argue against castration, because since the animal is in pain for months, it's inhumane. Ethical aspects. So livestock owners and others know that these practices can be offensive to some. Nonetheless, dehorned cattle create a safer workplace for herd mates, handlers, and workers. That's why the benefit of these practices outweighs the short period of time that calves feel pain. Castration methods, health issues, environmental issues, those are all ethical aspects. Current events. So, public concern about the welfare of the animals and all the practices that are taking place due to these processes have stimulated research into better understanding pain in livestock and how to reduce that pain. Um, there's a there's a post-surgery pain management that was developed, which is called meloxicam. This medication lasts up to 27 hours, which is way higher than the other ones that they used to use before, which only lasts like a couple hours. And this cost the cost of this is less than $1 for calves of branding. And the FDA has started to require veterinarians to include withdrawal time. The reason why they made the FDA include this was because before, veterinarians used to just prescribe meloxicam, and the they wouldn't know when to stop using it, which can also be negative for the animal if they continue to use this medication when they don't need it anymore. Cultural and sociological importance. Animal activist groups concerned for these practices have encouraged less painful procedures. There's been an increase in before and after treatments, so the animals aren't in as much pain. As time goes by, the culture changes, and the sociological aspects also change, which is very important because maybe these practices back then, because these practices have been around for years and years, and maybe back then these practices weren't as cruel or as harsh as we see them now, which is important because it pushes us to practice uh to do these practices more efficient and as less painful as possible. My opinion. I believe that castration and dehorning in food animals should continue to be practiced. I believe this because most of the animals are only in pain for a short amount of time, and as time goes by, they are developing more medicines to alleviate the pain. Due to these practices, humans and even the herd mates are safer and they cause less damages. So, yes, I do believe that castration and dehorning should continue to be practiced as long as they push to teach those who are performing these castration and dehorning methods to be as efficient as possible. And the reason why I say this is because if those who um are performing as efficiently as they can, then they're going to be doing those methods that work the best, that cause the animal to be in way less pain. So if the animals are only in pain for a couple hours, and this goes to all the animals, not just in some ranches, there's in some others they don't, but to teach those who are performing all the same, then it's worth continuing to do these castration and dehorning practices. Not only because it's going to save the industry a lot of money, but less people get hurt, less of the animals get hurt. These are my sources, and that's it. Thank you.